Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and the votes are in. I tallied them up, and you guys wanted it, so here it is. I'm here to bring you yet again another favorite heroes segment right here on Otaku Assemble Weekly. Now, as you guys know, this past week, I actually held 3 polls. There was one in the comments section of my update video, one on the YouTube channel, and one on the OAW Facebook page. And I tallied up all the votes, and the favorite heroes, favorite villains segment came out on top. So that will be joining the movie review segment, which dominated the polls, as the weekly segments for OAW for the month of August. Now, with that said, this video comes as a request via the comment section of the update video, and this was posted by username Senor Patrico, and it got 2 likes, and that is favorite heroes, favorite villains from the series Sons of Anarchy. Now, as you can tell, I have dressed for the occasion, got my Gray Reaper t-shirt on. So in this video, I'm going to discuss my all-time favorite Sons of Anarchy character and also my favorite hero of the series, and that is my man, Jackson, aka Jax Teller. Now, this video will contain spoilers from all previous 3 seasons of the series, so if you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend it. Also, if you guys don't care for spoilers and you still haven't checked out the series, stick around, because this video might intrigue you enough to want to check out the series. But let's go ahead and let's get into it. Now, for those of you who aren't aware with my man Jax Teller, just to give you a little brief history of him. Jax is the vice president of the Sons of Anarchy Motorcycle Club Redwood Original, abbreviated as Sam Crow, and his charter is located in the fictional town of Charming, California. I believe Charming is supposed to be in Northern California. But Jax is the son of John Teller, who was one of the original founders of the club, which makes Jax kind of like the heir apparent. And he is also the son of Gemma Teller, who is currently the queen bee. She's the top lady of the club, and he is also the stepson of Clay Morrow, who is the current president of the club. Jax has 1 son. Well, as of the end of season 3, from what we can see, he has 1 son, Abel, who he conceived with his ex-wife, Wendy, who he cut loose because she was a crack addict. But he is also expecting a 2nd kid with his current girlfriend, Tara Knowles. Now, I think that covers the personnel. Well, he's best friends with his fellow club member, Opie. And well, we found out in season 3 that apparently Jax has a half-sister who lives in Belfast, Ireland. Yeah, that was a nice little surprise. But so what can I say about my man Jax? Now, what I like about Jax is that throughout the course, just in 3 seasons, the progression and the development that this character undergoes, I really did enjoy. Because when the series first starts, Jax is, he's the young, he's like, he's one of the young leaders of the club, which is also worth noting because Jax is in his early 30s and he's already the VP of the club, which says something. And, and like I said, Jax is like the heir apparent. They call him the Prince all the time. That's like his unofficial nickname. But at the beginning of the series, especially in season 1, Jax is introduced as, like I said, like the young Prince character. He is, for the most part, what you would think of when you think of a Californian biker. One thing that Jax does have, from what I've read, Jax has been referred to as the Nike biker because Jax does wear a lot of fashionable gear. Jax does wear, sneakers, hoodies, casual jeans. sunshades. You see what I'm saying? Jax is a hipster. You feel me? But the events that take place in season 1, where we start to, learn about Jax as a person and learn about him as a character, out the gate, from the first episode, from the pilot, Jax's son Abel was born 10 weeks premature. And, he was in the incubator for quite a few episodes in the first season. And that right there, we got to know something about Jax, because Jax really does love his son, like, to death. He even gets a tattoo of his name right over his heart. And straight out the gate, in the pilot episode, Jax kicks the shit. He beats the shit out of the drug dealer who sold to his ex-wife. I mean, finds homeboy in a pool hall and just whoops his ass. But anyway, as the season progresses, Jax, he loves the club. The club is, second to his family. And one thing that he discovers in the first season is he discovers his late father's memoirs. And it contains what his intentions for the club were and where the club went wrong. And, Jax reads this throughout the entire season, and it fulfills the role of, his father's ghost. The thing I liked about Sons of Anarchy that I was able to pick up early on is that Sons of Anarchy is inspired heavily by Shakespeare's Hamlet. And it's pretty obvious early on, especially once Jax starts reading the memoirs, because that serves the purpose of his father's ghost, speaking to him beyond the grave. And by the end of the first season, Jax gets to the point where he wants to change the way things have been going in the club. And his father's memoirs, was his guide to do so. Now, in the second season, that's when things start to come to blows, because the second season, Jax is pretty much pitted against his stepfather, Clay. And you have this, this dog fight for whoever's going to be the top dog for the club. And Jax does, he does all these things to try and legitimize the club, because the club's main business is guns dealing. They receive guns overseas through their connections with the IRA. And they disperse the guns to other clubs. One of their biggest buyers are the the Niners. That's their name. The Niners, who are an African American club. Actually, they're not a motorcycle club, but they're an African American gang. They've also been featured in the FX series The Shield. But okay, so in the second season, Jax does these things to try and legitimize the club. Number one, he teams up with his old high school classmate, Hal, who is the deputy at the time, and he is to become the new sheriff of Charming. And he teams up with him to, try to crack down on some of the other crime that's going on in Charming. Because, let's face it, the club runs Charming, okay? They run that fucking town. And they're hand in hand, with the law enforcement, because the law enforcement's corrupt. But it's pretty much the thing is the club keeps the outside crime, out of Charming. And in doing so, the law enforcement kind of, they turn a blind eye to what the club does. Well, Jax is working hand in hand with the deputy, throughout season 2. He has the club purchase a porn studio so that the main source of the club's revenue is no longer the guns business, but it's the porn business. And that's also kind of funny because while it's the porn business, it's clean, it's legitimate, it's legal. You see what I'm saying? It's not anything that they can go to jail for. But halfway through season 2, the shit really hits the fan when the porn studio gets burned down. Jax accuses Clay of doing so, and then Jax goes nomad. If you guys don't know what nomad is, Nomad is when a biker goes rogue. They don't claim any. They don't claim They don't claim any charter. So they're kind of like, they're like a lone wolf. They just ride on their own. And that's a very dangerous place for them to be. Especially Jax. Because early on in the series, even way back in season 1, Jax gains enemies very easily. Just because of his position in the club. He gains enemies. Like insects to a flame. That's how he attracts enemies. So, you know, because of what happened in season 2 with his mom Gemma, I'm not going to give that away, but pretty much him and Clay, they reconcile because they have a huge, like, they actually come to blows in season 2 when they go to prison, but when they get out, they find out about what happened to his mom Gemma, and that brings them closer than ever. But then season 2 ends with Jax's son Abel getting kidnapped. And that's the whole goal of season 3. Season 3 is all about the search for Abel. And I shit you not, Jax, I remember seeing it. The season 3 premiere, Jax was so fucking depressed. He was so gone. But, you know, as the season, you know, goes along, you know, I mean, dude, Jax does some things in season 3 that you can tell, like, he really gets the will to kill. He will kill for his son. He even threatens a priest. He threatens to kill a priest to get his son back. And I'm sorry, but I just fell in love with Jax's character after that. Because for the most part, in the first half of the 3rd season, Jax is pretty much like a whipped dog as far as, you know, the whole thing with losing Abel. And it takes Gemma, it takes his mom to really instill that in him. She tells him, she's like, you muster up the hate. You muster up the malice that you need to take anybody's life that threatens your family. And Jax does that, man. Shit. Oh, man. And then when they get back, like, season 3, the club actually goes to Belfast. That's when we find out about Jax's sister, who he almost slept with, by the way. But they go to Belfast to retrieve Abel. By the time they get back to Charming, with all the shit that's been going on in Charming while they were gone, boy, Jax lets loose on somebody. And I won't let y'all know who it is, but all I'm saying is, Jax likes to carry this fucking buoy on him. You know, this really big fucking, you know, like, knife. And man, he went to town on somebody with that knife, boy. Woo! He went to town on that dude. Now, don't want to make this video too long, so I'm getting ready to wrap this thing up. But pretty much, okay, so another thing that Jax does in season 3. Jax is forced to work alongside Agent Stahl, who is an ATF agent. She, for the most part, is the primary antagonist of this series. And I will be doing a video on her next, because she is my favorite villain from the series. Jax is forced to work with Agent Stahl in season 3. And, you know, one thing to Jax's credit that they always tell Jax is that he's the smartest one in the club. Jax is a little, you know, he's the clever one. I'm not going to give away what happens at the end of season 3, but all I'm going to say is this. Jax's plan in season 3 sent me through a loop, because I would have never thought that that would have happened. How Jax's plan worked out. Like, I would have never figured that out. And it threw me entirely through a loop. So all I'm saying is, I'm looking forward to season 4. It kicks off September 6th. And like I've been saying it for months now, there will be weekly Sons of Anarchy reviews on OAW when it premieres in the fall, because I love this show to shit. It's so good. Man, if you haven't been watching this series, do yourself a favor and check it out, because it is fucking fantastic. And it's the best series on FX right now. Especially since Rescue Me is ending this season. Like, Sons is hands down the best series on FX right now. So, And I think it's one of the best series they've ever came out with. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for joining me this week. And as always, like I said, guys, how are we going to handle requests for favorite heroes and favorite villains? Simple. Request the series that you would like to see me discuss my favorite heroes and favorite villains in. Just like my man, Senor Patrico, he requested Sons of Anarchy. You know, that's how we're going to do it. So, guys, in the comments below, please leave your requests for what series you would like to see me take on next. And the way it's going to work is the comments with the most likes, with the most thumbs up, is the one that I'm going to look at. Now, granted, the Sons of Anarchy comment didn't have the most votes this past week, but that's because when I saw the comment, I was already planning on doing the video actually before voting even closed. So I guess I kind of jumped the shark on that one. But like I said, guys, leave your comments and vote. Vote. If you see that someone has posted a comment for a series that you want to see, vote for it. Vote for it. But with that said, what I got coming up later this weekend, I got my favorite villains video, which is going to be Agent Star from Sons of Anarchy. That's coming up. That's probably going to be uploaded later tonight. And then tomorrow I got my manga of the month for July, which is going to be Veritas, and my anime of the month for July, which is going to be Claymore. So guys, thank you for joining me again this week. This is Larry Williams, the OAW Commander-in-Chief. I'm signing off, and until next time, SOA fans, fear the Reaper. Peace.